Hey guys, what's up? Long time no see. I know. So for today's video, it's gonna be a long one. You guys already see the title and everything. So for today's video, I'm gonna be talking about my birth story. Yes, it's gonna be a long one. Grab your coffee, grab your chips, grab your water, grab whatever, and let's go ahead and jump right into this video. I'm not gonna lie, I already filmed this video 3 different times and I hated each one of them. And I think it's because I wasn't doing anything and I was just talking. So, I'm gonna be doing my makeup. I also have some notes, that way I won't just, start rambling on about stuff. So I want to talk about my due date. So my due date was actually September 3rd. No, I didn't give birth on September 3rd. I didn't even have contractions on September 3rd. I was totally fine. And yeah. So September 3rd comes around and I have a doctor's appointment, which is my final checkup. And so I go to it and my doctor goes, "Do you have any contractions?" "No." "Do you have any pain or anything?" "No." She goes, "Okay, well, that's okay." She's like, "But that's not, it's not the ideal thing, especially because I was already 41 weeks. Now, if you have a kid or if you're a mom already, then you already know 41 weeks, it's already a lot, especially because I didn't have any contractions or anything, The nurse is like, "Well, let's check if you're dilated at all," which obviously being a new mom and everything, I didn't know what that meant. And I was just like, okay, for sure. Ladies, that hurts so bad. If you can avoid it, or I don't know, because they did tell me that they didn't have to check me, but if I wanted to get checked, I could. And my dumbass said yes, because I didn't know how much pain it was going to be. So they checked me, of course, nothing, literally 0 centimeters dilated, which it's not shocking. I mean, I didn't have any contractions or anything. What was I expecting, really? Friggin' 5 centimeters dilated. Okay. Doctor, she starts getting, I don't want to say worried, but she does say, you do need to get induced because you have no signs that the baby wants to come, at least yet, and we're not going to risk it. So she calls the hospital and she checks, and for my luck, they didn't have any openings till a week later. Yeah. So I still had to wait a week. Of course, if I did get any contractions, if my water broke, all of that stuff, I could go. But if not, I would just have to wait until my induction day. So this is my due date, September 3rd. Now let's go a week later to September 7th, and that's a Monday. So Monday comes and my contractions start. Now, these contractions are not heavy, they're not intense, they're not nothing. They're just uncomfortable at this point. Tuesday, September 8th, yes, I did mark the days and everything. I'm still having contractions and they're getting more intense to the point that I'm like, okay, these are hurting, but it's not the real thing, obviously. I'm in pain, but they're bearable. I can breathe through them, all that. So I'm having contractions all day and they're not consistent. So they were about 5, 6, 8 minutes apart and lasting about 1 to 2 minutes. Now, those 1 to 2 minutes seem like forever, honestly, but they're nothing too intense. So then my contractions keep coming and everything, and then they stop. So I was just like, okay, I was like, okay, I've been having contractions all day and then now they're gone. So that kind of worried me. So I did talk to my sisters and I talked to my mom. And my mom was like, well, you're not walking, you're not doing anything, you're just sleeping, And I was like, Jesus, didn't have to attack me like that, But what can you expect? I'm 42 weeks pregnant, big. I'm tired. I ended up going to walk, so my contractions can get a little more intense, which they did, and then again they went away. So then Tuesday night maybe by like midnight or something, my contractions kick in so intense. And it's to the point now where I can't sleep. You know, it's those. If you've ever had a kid, it's those. It's like I can't sleep anymore. I'm so uncomfortable. I think I even got in the shower because I was like, maybe if I shower, I've heard that it takes away the pain. Not takes it away, but it like you can breathe through them or something. I don't know. And so I got in the shower and everything, and of course I still have pain, which is good, but in the moment it's just like, you know, you just don't want to be in pain. So then after I got out the shower, I remember I started pacing back and forth in the hallway because I didn't want to be laying down. I didn't want anything because when I lay down, they're 10 times more intense, right? So I just wanted to be walking back and forth, and that's what was helping me. So I guess my mom noticed, and she walks out and she's like, "What's going on?" You know, panicked and everything. And I was like, you know, I'm having a lot of pain. I'm having a lot of contractions. They're a lot closer and they're more consistent. They're not going away. My mom asked me if I wanted to go to the hospital just so I can get checked. And I told her, induction is already tomorrow. You know, tomorrow night, I can wait it out a little bit. If I really can't bear it at all throughout the day, then we'll go. But right now, I feel, you know, I'm in pain, but I'm okay. And she was like, my poor mom, she was really worried, obviously. And she had told me, she's like, even if you're not dilated at all or anything, they can still check you and check if the baby's okay and everything. And I was like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't know. I think I was just like, it's getting real, you know, the baby's actually coming now. And so I didn't go. Now it's Wednesday and contractions were still there, still intense, and at this point they hadn't died down, they hadn't gone away or anything, and so I was really in pain all day. My induction was actually on Wednesday night. I had to be at the hospital by 11 p.m. I believe, around 11 p.m. Let me add chapstick because she was looking a little crusty. So we start heading off to the hospital. We check in. We tell the person in the front, I'm here because I have a scheduled induction and everything. And they're like, okay. Of course, because of COVID, only one person was able to go with me, which is honestly so dumb. Like, I don't know. I'm still a little petty about that. But it is what it is. Isaiah's already here. He's well. He's alive. That's all that matters, right? I finally go into my delivery room, right? Shit's getting real. I end up taking a shower. And once I'm done, I call the nurse and tell her, hey, I'm done. And so she actually calls another lady. And I get my COVID test. Of course, negative. Thank God, actually. Not that I was ever in contact with someone that had COVID, but I was always just scared, you know, like, what if I got COVID with, you know, I don't know, going to the grocery store or something, because it has happened to people, right? Once my results came back, a doctor and a nurse came in and they started talking to me about the process, about how the whole induction process, basically. And then they finally bring back Isaiah's dad. Literally, as soon as he came back to the room, a bunch of nurses, doctors, whatever, they start coming in, and I'm just like, whoa, you know, a little overwhelmed because COVID and everything. And then also it's like, what the hell is happening? What's going on? You know, it's my first time, so I was nervous, I was scared, I was everything. First, they wanted to check how dilated, or if I was dilated at all. And then from there, they were going to start the Pitocin process. So they checked me, which is the worst pain ever. You know, being in contractions all day, literally tired. And now you have to get checked down there. I don't know, it's something else. They check me and I'm actually 3 centimeters dilated, which, thank God I didn't walk in 0 centimeters dilated, which was my biggest fear, honestly. So the Pitocin process started, right? So they start me up on Pitocin, put me on the IV and everything. And they lay me back down on the bed. Within a couple of minutes, I got my first contraction with Pitocin laying down. Oh my gosh, guys. If I thought regular contractions were painful, Pitocin literally strikes it up so high. I don't know. I was not expecting that much pain. These were like, I want to cry already, and we're barely on the first level of Pitocin. So I literally, because they had hooked me up to a bunch of different machines and like a monitor on my belly and like everything, I didn't know if I was able to like stand up or anything. But I for sure knew I was like, I'm not going to be laying down for this much because I just won't be able to bear the pain. Can you hear my son drinking his bottle? I hope you really can't, but you probably can because he drinks his milk so loud. I didn't notice that till I started filming, man. So we end up calling the nurse back in, and I'm like, hey, there's no way I'm going to be laying down and having all these contractions. I feel like I'm going to die. Is there a way that I can be able to get up, walk around, at least in my room? And she was like, okay, well, you have a lot of stuff connected to you, but she was going to try to figure it out. I was like, cool, perfect. So, of course, she was able to disconnect a couple of stuff, and I was able to walk around the room, which helped a lot with easing the pain. So this was basically my Wednesday night. I was just walking around the room in so much pain. Like I don't even want to remember what that pain is. So the whole night passes and I'm just in a pain that I just want to cry and scream. And I'm trying to breathe through them. All the techniques that they teach you or like that I saw through a doula through YouTube. So she unhooks me. Okay, I just did my concealer off camera because I was taking too long, and so now I'm cream bronzer. She lets me walk around the room, and she would come back in to check how I'm doing and if I wanted the epidural yet, which I did want it, but not yet. So she was pretty nice. She gave us advice and help, and she told Isaiah's dad, maybe when she's getting a contraction, just rub her lower back or wherever she has most pain and everything, which he would do. It did help when he would rub my back, but then the contractions got to a point where they were just unbearable personally for me. And so I was like, don't touch me, don't get near me, don't nothing. Like I was in that type of pain. Like I just need you to leave me alone. Once it got to around 6 a.m., I was like, you need to call the nurse because I just can't. I've been in pain since freaking Monday. I'm tired. I'm everything. I just can't. We end up calling the nurse and we tell the nurse, I want the epidural already. She was like, okay, it's going to take a while because we need to call the lady or whatever. And I was like, okay. It's 6:30 and I need to get checked before I get the epidural. They wanted to check me how far I have dilated. So they tell me that I'm basically a 6. And I was like, okay, great. I made it at least to 6, which is why I'm in so much pain. Only 4 more to go, right? Remember that. Basically a 6. So I get the epidural and life is amazing. I can breathe. I can talk. But I don't want to because I want to take a nap. And I just want to say, when I got the epidural, once they put the epidural on me, I started feeling very shaky, very like I don't know, I just got the shakes and everything. And since it was my first time ever in a hospital and getting medication and all that, my body took it very weird and I was basically sleep talking. Side note, I was talking about Rob Kardashian. Don't ask me why, I don't know either. But apparently I said something about Rob. And then I was asking I don't know, I was talking to my mom or something. Yeah, that's basically the rest of my Thursday. I'm getting switched from side to side. They put the peanut ball in between my legs so it can help. It's supposed to help you dilate faster and everything. But yeah. So then nighttime comes and the new shift, the new doctors, the new nurses come in, but I want to check how dilated you are. And I was like, okay. But remember, I have the epidural now, so I was hoping I wouldn't feel anything. And nope, I didn't feel anything when she checked me. I just felt a little bit of pressure, but I'll take that in comparison to the pain that I felt before, right? So I get checked, and she tells me, okay, you're 5 centimeters dilated. Remember what I said in the beginning, that I was basically a 6? How did I go from a 6 to a 5? Is what I want to know. So I was confused, and I was like, wait, but they had told me. She's like, no, you're a 5. And I was like, okay. So then she checks my baby's heart rate, and his heart rate is going down. And that worries her because that's not good, obviously. Let's switch you around. Maybe it's just the position that you're in. Let's move you this way. Let's move you that way. Let's figure out what the baby likes. So they switch me around. We finally get a steady heart rate, and we're good to go. That went on for about a couple of hours, maybe like 2 hours, and they were monitoring the baby a little closer because of his heart rate dropping and it fluctuating. And then when she came back to check me again, his heart rate was already going down again. So they realized that when they broke my water, it was too early, and that was kind of like a shocker to the baby, and he's not doing well. So they plugged another IV in me or whatever, and they ended up adding water back. And once they did that, the baby's heart rate, stabilized. It was doing good. He was doing better. And now again, they went back to switching me sides, using the peanut ball. It's 1 a.m. and I'm in the worst pain ever. So the doctor comes in and she checks me, and I'm still 5 centimeters dilated. Now this is stressing me out because at first I was dilating quick, and it seems that once I got the epidural, everything just like stopped, and everything was just going pretty bad basically. So the doctor actually tells me, you know what? Let's try this. Let's put you on all fours, and if the baby likes that, you're gonna stay in that position for as long as you can. I've been on all fours like this for about an hour and a half, so you can only imagine the pain that I'm in. The nurse and the doctor there were like, okay, you need to stretch out and move yourself so we can be able to check how dilated you are. And I looked at her and I was like, I can't move. I've been in this position for a long time. I can't move. I'm in so much pain. I feel like you're not listening to me. I do start getting frustrated, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably did give some attitude, but at this point I felt like she's ignoring everything I'm telling her. So what did she do? Her and her nurse literally moved my arm like this. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but guys, I was in so much pain. I was in that pain where I can't move because I've been in this position for so long. Like, I just can't move. I know I need to, but I can't. Like, I physically can't. She did that. I was like, you need to stop. Get off of me. Do not touch me. That's when I started being like, enough. Like, I can't. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm young and it's my first time, and I was like, I do not want a C-section. She was starting to be rough and tough with me. So she checked how dilated I am, and I believe I had only dilated up to 6 centimeters. She was like, nope, emergency C-section. Take off all your jewelry right now, and we're gonna go get the papers because you need to sign everything and this and that. And I looked at the doctor and I was like, what do you mean emergency C-section? You've had me here in pain. His heart rate has been fluctuating since the beginning. Why is there a need for a C-section all of a sudden? And she told me, you haven't dilated much and you've been on Pitocin and for a while now. I said, how's the baby doing? Is he fine, or how is he doing? And she goes, well, he's fine. And I looked at her and I was like, then I'm not gonna, no, I'm not gonna go through that process. If there's any chance that I can wait it out or anything, let me do that. She's like, okay, let me tell you this. I'm gonna give you another 1 to 2 hours. If you don't dilate, we're doing a C-section. And I was like, okay, that I can agree with, because at that point, I don't want to risk my baby's health. That's the last thing. But since he was doing okay, he was doing fine, I'm not going to go and do a C-section. So one thing I actually forgot to mention, and I have it on my notes, I don't know why I whatever's. When she told me that I need to have an emergency C-section, she was like, it's okay, baby, you can do this next time with the next baby. And I was like, how can you tell me this? You know, I'm already processing everything that my body isn't doing what it needs to be doing. You know, I'm already feeling bad about it. You don't need to be like, next time. What if I don't want to have another kid? What if I can't have another kid? You know, I felt like that's so, maybe I'm just being dramatic, but I felt like that was so wrong of her. Back to the story. I believe she gave me like an hour and a half or something like that. In that hour and a half, the nurses actually helped me switch sides, use the peanut ball, anything, you know, to try to help me dilate. It's around 3 a.m. and I finally get checked and I'm 8 centimeters dilated. Oh my gosh, I feel like it's taken forever. I feel like I was stuck at 5 forever. And so when I hear 8 centimeters, I'm like, oh, thank you, God. Like, honestly, thank God that I dilated, that my body dilated, that everything was going right, you know? Not that having a C-section is bad or anything, but I wanted to be able to experience, you know, giving birth vaginally to my son. By this point, the epidural, I was pushing the button, I was everything, and it just wasn't helping my contractions at all. I was getting a really, really, really bad, sharp pain in my lower back on this side. It was kind of like they were stabbing me or they were cutting me. I don't know. The pain was so bad. It was unbearable. I was crying. I was screaming. Yes, I was screaming because I was in so much pain. I have never had this pain. I've never broken a bone or anything. So this is the first, you know. Around 6 a.m., the nurses checked me and they're like, you're 10 centimeters dilated. At around 6 something, I start pushing. And keep in mind, I'm still getting, obviously you push with every contraction. So I still have really, really, really bad contraction back on my lower back. But I feel like pushing was the easiest part. And I got excited with every push and everything because that meant every push just meant I'm closer to meeting my son. I remember, I think it's when you're crowning or when you can finally see the baby's head, my doctor goes, do you want us to get a mirror so you can see? And so maybe that can motivate you while you push. And I was like, absolutely not. I do not want to see anything. Just let me push. And she's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm sure. Think about it now. I wish I would have seen, but at the same time, I'm glad I didn't because I don't want to see, yeah, you know. So they see him, they see his head and they're like, oh my gosh, this boy has so much hair. And I was like, I knew it. That's the one thing I knew about my son is that he had a full head of hair. Around 6:30, my son was born and it was such an experience to see him, to give birth to him. That's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye. I have a tooth now. And I think I can bite everything. And even I can bite my mama. Huh? You want to bite your mama? Bye, guys.